Welcome to the squad. He's Icewater and Puma, and the squad is sponsored by Rayon Cognac. Join the movement. Catch us at www.rayoncognac.com. We're going to be talking some NBA playoffs. Also, the Kentucky Derby. You did really well. You did really well. And also, we're going to be talking a little bit of boxing to give you a teaser for our boxing show coming up later. But let's talk about the NBA playoffs. The Knicks make it to round two, and they are leading 1-0 in that series. Minnesota shocking the Spurs at home, 1-0 on that particular series. You have the Thunder, not really surprised. Everybody's really surprised that the Lakers got by in that first round. The Thunder leading 1-0, the Pistons leading 1-0, and you got the Cavaliers. I thought Toronto would get them. I really did. But in that last game, and here's the conspiracy theory, they get Scotty Barnes in foul trouble with so many fouls that he couldn't really play his game. And that was the Achilles heel and taking the Toronto Raptors out of that particular series in the seventh game. And I know you're going to be saying that the powers that be want certain teams in there. I think Cleveland is one of those teams that they want to get to the Eastern Conference Finals because Boston gets knocked out. Boston gets knocked out. Your eye test on the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to get to it in my last second shot because I'm touring right now, but there's a lot of injuries going on, and now people getting excited, and the media's playing into these injuries, like the teams that are defeating these players, these teams that have major injuries, as if these teams that their opponents are playing amazing basketball. But like for instance, with the Lakers defeating Houston in 6 games after they went up 3-0. Durant's not playing. And when he played, he was hurt. You're supposed to do that. Why they act like this? Oh, here come Reeves back. And we think if they stayed around long enough, Luca might come. Man, get out of town. Get out of town. And LeBron is showing some resurgence. The media is something else. But with all that being said, OKC is revving up. They're revving up, have a 1-0 lead. And I think this is going to be real quick. And that series, in the other series, and you think about the West, Minnesota got by Denver with Gordon being hurt, and Minnesota just came to play. I will say this: I was not a big McDaniel's fan, but that is a baller, man. He bring it every night, and even though he talked stuff to Denver and people got frustrated, got into their feelings, I definitely want to give kudos to him because he brings it every night and they're playing strong as heck. And even though Anthony Edwards was out for a while, he showed a little made a small appearance versus the Spurs. He just did enough to keep them going as a leader, which I appreciate.
But then the thing
And
I want to, I don't mean to interrupt you, but how long can he do this? Because he's playing hurt. He's playing hurt. And I thought the Spurs strategy should have been push this guy to the limit. Push him, push him, push him, make him just work as hard as he can to get him out of there because if he's in there, they got a chance to win that series. If he's not, who knows?
I'm with you, but that's a young team. And that's a coach that perhaps is trying to figure his way out too. That's a young team. You don't know how to, and that's why I told someone before. Even though they play real well, the Spurs that is in the regular season, you're playing against a team, a veteran team that's been not so much to the finals, but they've been in that area before. For instance, when they lost to Dallas, and so they've been there before. So Anthony Edwards, even though he was hurt before, I think it's gonna still take him a few more games to kind of try to get back. He may not be really back until the next series if they make it, but I think he's playing limited minutes. But the way that they were able to come through Minnesota and beat Denver without him, you got to think anything he can give them 17, 18 minutes. And if he can do anything at all, it's a boost because he's their leader. He's a boost. So I don't think they're going to try to overplay him. I think they believe they can get past San Antonio now, winning that first game without really exhausting the minutes for Edwards. I think if he has to play and he gets tight and we go deep in the series. I think he'll do what he has to do to try to stretch it out. But I think that they believe the way that they won, they can win because Wemby struggled a little bit. He came on down the stretch, but this is a team. As great as Wemby is, and he showed me that, this is a team. You cannot come out here being the individual. He might get 60, but the other guys don't show up. You also had the guard play was a little suspect, right? As the point guard, Fox struggled as well in that game. So this is perfect for Minnesota. Plus, they are also very, very physical. They play very physical. They have no fear. They have nothing to lose against a team that's really young right now.
Now, let me ask you a question about the Detroit Pistons. Have they got past the scare of almost being taken out by Orlando, and now they got their heads, in the right place to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers?
That's a great question. I thought that they might lose to Orlando.
Mhm.
I don't know because they're temperamental too, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
you
they
just
are.
don't know they're temperamental.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham comes back, and I literally thought they were going to lose that series versus Orlando, but they got by Cleveland. And the thing about it is the problem that Orlando provided for Detroit is the factor that they were very physical, right? Which they didn't really like. They're a lot more physical than they were. But now going against Cleveland, even though Cleveland talent wise is probably better than Orlando, they're not as physical. And that gives Detroit a little bit more leeway to kind of play with them from that standpoint. And then we come back to Cleveland, as you said, that with those big guys and James Harden, right? And Mitchell, you just shake your head going like, what is it? What else is there? And I thought they were going to win the game one. I was like, you come off the victory, you beat Toronto, Cleveland, this is your time, this is your year. You got James Harden, let's go. And
Nope.
Detroit was like, nope, nah,
Nope.
nah.
No.
So if Cleveland does not make it out of this series, if they don't make it to the finals this time, it's only one thing to do. You got to go get LeBron and add LeBron to the mix.
Oh, come on, man.
Why not?
Come on.
Why not? LeBron Harden,
Around to be what, 42? Come on, man.
he got something left in the tank. What else do they have? He can help them.
Come on. Yeah, I disagree with that. I don't mean to intercept, but I disagree with that
What,
wholeheartedly.
they're
Wholeheartedly.
missing
I mean, you
something
got
though. They're
40, you're
missing.
42 years old. How much do you have in the tank to push a team like Cleveland in the East to a NBA title? I don't see that happening unless he just wants to go home and retire. Okay, but I don't think
All I'm saying to
I
you,
really don't. And is he going to share the ball with Mitchell and Harden? No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
all I'm saying to you, you don't have to have 20, average 25 points a game. They need somebody that's been in the trenches. It's the same reason why it may not happen lightning in the bottle only once. It's the same reason why Toronto is trying to consider can they find a way to get to obtain Kawhi Leonard.
Uh,
See that it's the same thing, but I'm saying, but at least with LeBron at 42, even at 42, he can be an inspiration in whatever he can provide for this team. They need a kick in the booty, and they got a fiery coach that is really good for Cleveland, but they're missing something. They are you got those two. You got 2 7 foot, two big guys. I always said you should probably trade Jared Allen for something else. But who? You got James Harden on the humbug, right? You have to give up a lot. You got Mitchell. We still waiting on. You need someone else to inspire them. And I think LeBron James can do that. I don't know. Tell me something else. You're not getting Giannis.
yeah, this reminds me of an old saying that goes like going back to an ex-girlfriend is like reading a book you already read, expecting a different outcome. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And him going back to Cleveland for the third time, I don't think it's going to happen. It's
Okay, but at least you know that girlfriend. You know
Yeah,
who she
but
is.
it ain't going. The ending is not going to be what you want it to be. It's
What
not.
else you gonna do though? You can't stand pat.
It's a
You got
farewell tour for him. That's what
right,
it's going
and
to
that's
be.
fine. My question to you though is answer this for me. What else are they going to do? They can't stand pat. But I guess you can. You're gonna lose. They do not, unless they prove me wrong, they do not look like they're capable of doing anything. They're not gonna go anywhere.
I would get rid of Harden, and I would get rid of one of them big men to get you a few players, a big time player that's a starter and that's a go getter, and then get some great people that come off the bench to help them. And defense is going to be the key for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Defense, defensive players, players who could just put it on the line, build that bench, get you a star player, get rid of Harden, and get rid of one of those big guys that's not going to service you well in the next 5 years. And then instead of going to get LeBron and get some veteran, that that if you say that, they might as well go get KD, but he ain't gonna help him either.
I don't know about that one, but we can discuss that another. All I'm saying is when you look at this has been pretty much almost how long has LeBron been has left Cleveland? It's been at least a 6 year experiment. They moved players around from Karis LeVert, a couple other people like that. They moved all kind of people around. They still have not gotten the answer. So if you get rid of, you don't get LeBron, if you get rid of Harden, you keep Mitchell at the front, you trade one of those big guys. What is the answer? You brought in a coach that's a little bit more fiery, a lot more disciplined, but they're still going. It seems as if they're not moving forward. 6 years or longer, whatever it might be, they had to figure this out. I just, I don't know. I'd rather take a shot with LeBron that at least knows he's going to try to motivate some people. Maybe get them big guys playing or something like that too, more than James Harden ever will. Or KD. You can say what you want to about KD, but at least he's gonna come and play hard. Right now they have nothing. You Mitchell, as much as I like Mitchell, I think Mitchell's a hell of a player, but it's like, what you doing for us? Okay, I'll drop 35. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Harden just Harden. Same old stuff. You told me for years, it's the same old thing. You have to stop the mess and figure it out, or you're just gonna be the team or a franchise people go, man, they was decent, but they weren't good enough.
All right, let's go to the Kentucky Derby. You went out to Vegas and you did really well with the horses. Did really well, and I'm gonna have you talk about that. But watching the race, and I was talking to Pop about it, the horse that won was in last place. And that was a remarkable race. And the trainer, the first female trainer to win a Kentucky Derby, your Ortiz, one of the brothers, wins that race. So I'm going to turn it over to you because you are our horse racing guru. So you had the floor, sir.
Every once in a while, I appreciate it. Every once in a while, you get lucky, right? That's what I've been told. But then they say if you're a little bit more consistent, it's not luck. All I know, I've been watching horse racing for a long, long time. When I was a youngster, a wee youngster, reading Sports Illustrated. I won't tell you how long ago that was, but it's been a while. But I will say this to you that I enjoy horse racing. It's wonderful. It reminds me because of the factor that it forces you to think it's gambling, but it's lucky. But there's some what I consider there's a little bit of a formula behind it. My thing was always learning about the horses, learning what the lineage was. For instance, like, is this a horse, particular horse that had great lineage? Was it a descendant of Curlin? Was it a descendant of Seattle Slew, right? Was it a descendant of, for instance, a Secretariat?
Mm-hmm.
All those things matter. Then you flip over and you go, okay, who is the trainer? We know we got some top-notch trainers, Bill Baffert, William Mott. There's so many other trainers. You look at that from that standpoint. Then, of course, one of the most important things is the jockey. Consider the jockey. I've been watching jockeys for years. The Ortiz brothers have been some of my favorites over the years. They just ride hard. Javier Castellano is one. Old school vet Mike Smith. You know how that goes to Junior Alvarado. Our guy Velasquez has been knocking down the door. There's so many great jockeys over the years. But with that being said, that formula makes a lot. And one of the last things too is last two things that you consider, I consider anyway, is the horse and has it run. How often has it run at the length of the race, right? So let's say, for instance, the Derby is 10 furlongs, right? Then you want to check to see how many times the horse has run at 10 furlongs and also how successful has it been. And last but not least, what is the relationship between the trainer? One other thing I like, what's the relationship between the trainer and the jockey? Do they have a chemistry? Right? Do they have a chemistry? And then finally, it's like, okay, has the jockey ridden the horse before? Because some of the guys, that's the first time they saddle these horses. The only time they get to ride them is doing practice runs. But if they have a history with this horse, it does make a difference. So, with all that being said, things were coming together. And we started out with the Oaks, which was on Friday. And I looked at the field and I went straight jockey. So I had Jose Ortiz, that's riding a horse, that's always a runner. Really had never ridden a horse before, except for doing the runs, but I just liked him. So I selected him, and the field was dwindling. I selected another horse. Long story short, we hit an exacta box on Friday, right? So we bet one race, hit the exacta box. Paid a nice little, what was it, $13 to win. So every $2 you bet, you get 13. I'm about to educate you guys a little bit. Don't gamble if you don't have to. But anyway, I'm just telling you. But move forward on Kentucky Derby Day. And the premise behind it was trying to find five horses, which I normally do. I do a five horse exacta box, which means simply put, out of the five horses, two must come first, second, right? They must finish first, second. And then that means you get the odds. So I had already had that decision made in my mind, and we had made that bet. And then we moved forward, looking forward 10 minutes before the race, and I'm watching the board and I'm watching the odds go up and down. And most of the odds that you would get were maybe 4-1, 5-1 max, maybe 6-1, which means a lot of people are betting money across the board, saying that they think a lot of horses have a chance to win. We're talking 18 horses, right? So that's what they were doing. So there was no true great odds except for ones that you never thought would have a chance in heck because they were just recently entered into the Derby or they have not shown signs of greatness. So as I looked at the odds, I considered what was going on in there was one horse and one jockey that I saw that had high odds that I considered a possible winner. And that horse was in my exacta box, and that was number 19. So that was Golden Tempo. And the jockey was Jose Ortiz, who won the Oaks the day before. And I'm gonna just make it plain. It was high at 23 to 1 because a couple things. One, it's hard for a jockey to win both races back to back. There's only certain few that have done it. So I think they looked at it that way. People were not considering that. The other thing too, a woman trainer has never won the Derby. I never won the Derby. So they just kind of canceled him out. Oh, he's never going to win. She's definitely not going to lead him. I'm just telling you guys the truth. It's what it was. So that horse stayed high, like 23 to 1. So I made a suggestion to someone as we were about to make the bet. I said, this horse probably has a shot. And the factor that Jose Ortiz had already ridden this horse three times, twice to victory. There's one thing that they said the horse was lazy because it always starts slow in the back of the pack. And then it tries to run and catch everybody. That's its MO. That's its MO. So you move up the ladder and things are just going the way they're supposed to. Oh, also, real quickly, prior to that, there was some kind of commotion where one of the horses bucked the jockey and it stopped everything. So they had to regate all of the horses and start from the beginning. And once they got them out, it was like it was a big calamity of horses just running into each other almost. Until finally they got straightened out, but they all were, I think they were frustrated and confused, and they kept banging up on each other. And the one horse that was all the way in the back after getting bumped around was Golden Temple. So they go through halfway, the half mile point. It's back and forth. And as you start to run around the turn, There were like 13 horses ahead of the Golden Temple. And slowly but surely, Jose Ortiz started to make a run. He passed several other horses, get halfway down the track, still like 7 or 8 in front of him. And he sees his brother, Irad Ortiz, on the outside. So he follows his brother, horse number one, Renegade, and starts to chase him down. And as you got near the end, Irad Ortiz was right near the front and seemed like he was prepared to win. Now, neither one of the Ortiz brothers had won the Derby ever, and their parents were in attendance. And at the last minute, Jose Ortiz brought Golden Tempo home at a 23-1 shot. For those watching at home, that meant for every $2 that you bet, you got 48. So we hit the exacta box because we had Golden Tempo 19 and the number one horse, the other Ortiz brother, we had that. Okay? So we had the exacta box. Then we also had Golden Tempo to win and to show. And all I can tell you is there are a lot of happy people. So we won that race, and then ironically, it was just amazing time for everyone. People were happy. A lot of people cashed that day with us. But I will tell you this: I was glad the way it worked for the Ortiz brothers. But the only thing if there was one regret I had, which I didn't see, and I'm sure not too many other people saw, I wish I would have bet the trifecta, but I never would have done it anyway, because the trifecta paid $1 trifecta with so many horses. Let's say you spent $20, whatever. $1 trifecta paid $11,000 because the horse that came in third, horse 22, was 78-1.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I gave you guys a lot of information. Some people say the hell with that horse racing stuff. Say that if you will. I'm a winner, baby. And a lot of people follow me are winning. That's all I know. So we appreciate it. Puma, your thoughts? Were you on in on that money?
I ain't gonna say, but I'm gonna say this: HHE forever. Those who know. Let's talk a little bit of boxing. Tease the fight game show. In a way, versus Nagataki happened on last Saturday, 6 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I did get up about 5:30 and try to wake myself up to watch that fight. It was an entertaining fight. I think after the fifth round, when they both kind of felt each other out, it got a little better. And then Benavidez ran through a cruiserweight, ran through him. And what we're going to argue about in the fight game is that I believe Canelo is running away from this dude. And he didn't even want to see him fight. After the Jaime fight, he left. He didn't want to see it because I think he knew he was going to get called out. But I like the way Benavidez did this. He asked the crowd, hey, do you want to see this fight? And the crowd said yes. So Canelo, I don't know what you're afraid. I know what you're afraid of because you saw him put them hands on that cruiserweight and ran right through him, going up in weight. But Benavidez said, hey, I'll come down to 175 if that's the case. So Canelo's fighting somebody that we've never heard of in September. And so, I got grievances, people. I got grievances against Canelo of doing this. I'll give you a short little bite so we can
Well,
get
we
to
have a lot to talk about. So if you really want to hear what I have to say, I have a lot to say. I already talked about horse racing. I have a lot to say about this boxing match. You got to tune into the next show. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
the fight game, Icewater and Puma. All right. Last second shot. I'm going to get my last second shot first. Russell Wilson, you have a choice to go to the Jets or get on TV. Bruh, don't go to the Jets. Please don't go to the Jets are cursed, bruh. I know you play with the Giants. You probably want to stay in the New York area because, your wife loves entertainment and loves to be in the spotlight and all that other stuff. Dude, you can do that on TV. Hang it up, go to TV. Because if you go to the Jets, you're going to get hurt or you're going to get ruined by the Jets fans because that team is going nowhere. Your last second shot, bro.
Yeah, I know y'all gonna hate me, but I'm gonna do it. keep going back to this horse racing, and I'm gonna say this: I've loved horse racing for a long time, and my birthday sometimes falls on the Saturday of the Kentucky Derby. Okay, so Saturday was my birthday, and those that know, we hit those horses 23 to 1 shot. Okay, 17 years early. I know y'all like, wow, it's a long time. 17 years earlier on us that Saturday back in May was my birthday as well. And we did well on that day as well too. 50 to 1 shot, Mind That Bird with Calvin Burrell aboard. All were happy. So I'm not sure when my birthday falls again. I hope it's not another 17 years, God willing, that we can hit some shots before. But it was a great time had by all those that were there and enjoyed it. And those that know, and are smiling greatly. That's all I can say. Thank y'all. It was a time to be had.
Yeah. One more last second shot. My partner here just put out a book. It's Charles E. Farmer. It's called Time to Let Little Boys Go. It is a great book. He just put it out, and it's been a long time coming. I'm so proud of this guy, and I read the book. He allowed me to do the foreword of the book, and if you get this book, you will never see this guy in the same light again. It is a great book. Even Pop, who, Pop doesn't kind of pick up books other than spiritual and Bible. He was like, you know what? Halfway through this book is really interesting. So if Pop could say that, man, if we can get Pop's attention, there's something else. We'll see you next week.